Hi. Men often ask me, what do I do if my partner or my wife won't work on the relationship with me? So I want to get into that a little bit with you today. First of all, often when I hear this, and when we really look at it, it doesn't have to do with the fact that she doesn't want to work on it. It has to do with the fact that it's usually about the sexual aspect of the relationship, and that's the piece she doesn't want to work on. But if you are, in fact, in a relationship where your partner will not work on things with you, what that essentially means is she's not interested in any kind of progress with you. She's not interested in growing with you. And then what you essentially need to ask yourself is this where I want to be? And being that a relationship is like a garden and that it needs to be watered and fed the nutrients it needs to thrive, if your relationship's not getting those nutrients, it's ultimately going to die. And the question you need to be looking at is, do I want to be in a relationship that is dying, or do I want to figure out a new way of configuring how we relate to each other? But let's look at the other aspect of this, because oftentimes it's not that she doesn't want to work on it with you. It's that what she knows you're talking about is the sexual piece, and she's not interested in focusing on that. Now, why is that? Well, it often has to do with differing values. It has to do with the fact that you didn't initially agree and get on the same page about what really mattered in relationship to you. Now, if this is the case for you, just know this is super common. Most people don't talk about the things that they really value and then work on making those the centerpiece of how they relate to each other. So what they get over time is two people who start to express themselves differently concerning their values. Now, when you're pressing her to talk about how can we improve this relationship, and it is focused on the sex, she's feeling probably in her mind, look, I don't care about that. It's not really important to me, and therefore I don't want to talk about it, because she sees it as a win-lose proposition. If she gives herself over to what you desire from her, she loses, you win, right? And that's not sustainable. So what can you do about this? I think the first thing you need to figure out is this systemic? In other words, does this mean really that she ultimately does not value great sex in your relationship? Or is it related to the fact that she just doesn't enjoy the sex that you've had over time? She doesn't feel inspired by it. She doesn't feel respected or honored. Whatever it is for her, she's lost faith in feeling like it can improve. And so she doesn't want to discuss it. So what you've got to do is figure out which of these two problems you have. Is it that over time the experience for her was really unfulfilling and she's given up on it? Or is it that she has zero value for it? If it is in fact that she has zero value for it, then what you've got to figure out is what you want to do. Right? Because you also have a choice in this relationship. Nobody's obligated to have sex because they're married. Even if there was a really conscious agreement from the start that you were going to be great lovers together, that you were going to make it a centerpiece of your relationship and really work on it, people change and people have a right to want what they want. But you do too, and you don't have to be held prisoner to a relationship where there isn't sex. So this is an exploration that really needs to be looked at, and you need to negotiate this conversation as carefully as you can to get to the conclusion of one of the other points. Is it the quality, or was it the quality? Or was it this other thing around, it's just not important to me? The confusing thing is often women will say, it's just not important to me. And they do that because they don't want to discuss the details of their unhappiness with your sex life. So it's a little bit tricky. If I can help you with this, feel free to reach out to me. It is a process. It does take some time, so it's not something I can coach you about over email. I can give you simple answers, but if you want to talk about how to really get this landed for yourself and figure out what's really going on, we can talk about potentially working together. I hope you found that helpful. I'd love to get your comments. Just feel free to respond to this communication, and I'll be in touch with you.